So many world leaders are upset with Trump, similarly to how many Americans protested his policies over the course of the weekend. From Ukraine and Russia to Israel and Gaza, and even in Colombia, Trump is receiving pushback. Just today, he spoke with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese at the White House. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. Look, we have to get there. So please hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because this insanity, it's not going to stop. Now, Trump met with Anthony Albanese in the White House, and Trump, of course, had his classic back and forth with the press. One reporter actually brought up the Australian ambassador. Trump, of course, didn't realize or recognize that he was sitting at the table, but immediately said, I just don't like him. Play the clip.
Go ahead. There's been concern in Australia that it's taken 9 months to get this meeting. Have you had any concerns with this administration, with the stance on Palestine, climate change, or even things the ambassador said about you in the past, the Australian ambassador?
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if he said bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. I really don't know. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will. Go ahead. No, you went. Go ahead. Behind you, President.
It's one thing to turn around and to say something like that in a closed meeting. It's another to actually do it. Where is the diplomacy? Where is the honor in terms of inviting people to the White House simply to turn around and to be derided? Now, another reporter goes on and asks if Trump would literally come try an Australian golf course. Play that clip.
I don't think you've ever been to Australia. Have you thought about coming to Australia and trying out some of the golf courses?
I would, and I actually have been to Australia, and I did play one of your great golf courses. They have great golf courses there, but I have been to Australia, actually.
Would you come again?
Oh, I would. In fact, I've been invited to go, and
Indeed.
I'll have to give it serious consideration. No, it's a real possibility.
Did the Prime Minister invite you today?
He did.
And perhaps we could time it, must be said, with the President's Cup that Australia hosts as well.
When is the President's Cup?
We'll organise it at a time suitable for you, Mr. President.
Please, in the back, please.
You know, the problem is that it's the level of stupidity. It just doesn't start or stop on the U.S. side. I understand everybody wants to have fun and there's a lot of levity. Right now, the world is upside down. And to sit there and this isn't about golf. That's not the purpose of this entire meeting. Now, a reporter then brings up the current trade imbalance that weighs, of course, when it comes to Australia, in our favor. Play that clip.
Yeah, Mr. President, the Prime Minister mentioned that there's a trade imbalance that's very heavily in America's favour. Why does America slap such heavy tariffs on a friend and others?
Well, we don't, yeah. Well, we do in some cases. We do in many cases because we've been treated unfairly. But actually, the tariffs are very light. The one thing is you buy a lot of airplanes, so that helps because you buy a lot of the beautiful Boeings, the best of the Boeings. Boeing, and by the way, Boeing is really doing well. They have lots of orders, and they're really doing a great job. They make a great plane. But Australia, because of its location, which is great, but one of the things dictated by that location is you have to order a lot of airplanes. So I guess we have that advantage. They need a lot of airplanes in Australia, and that gives us a little bit of an advantage.
Actually, that's not accurate. So let me just sort of break this stupidity down, because that's really how this comment has to be looked at. Boeing is not a company that is owned by the United States of America. It is a private entity that does a lot of business with the United States and with the United States government, but it is not a government-owned subsidy. So it has nothing to do with trade. The fact that Australia could buy their planes from somebody else. In fact, just so you understand, China manufactures an airplane identical to the Boeing because the stupid people here from Boeing went ahead and they gave China all of the specs, which is required. This whole thing is out of control. He's talking about Boeing like if we own it. We don't. But another reporter asked Trump if he would actually just consider lifting the tariffs altogether on Australia, again, because we, the United States of America, yes, there is a trade imbalance, but it's in our favor. Play the clip.
Given the trade surplus that the US enjoys with Australia, would you consider lifting the tariffs that you've imposed on Australia? And can you give us any details about the critical...
Yeah, well, the tariffs have been amazing because, tariffs have been really a reason that I was able to settle almost all of the, I've settled 8 wars in 8 months. Not bad. I have one more to go. It's Russia, Ukraine, and I think we'll get there, but it's turned out to be nasty because you have 2 leaders that truly hate each other, You can't have it all, right? They hate each other beyond all else, and it makes it actually...
Well, actually, you're in office for 10 months, and if you want to claim that the 8th one that you just settled was Israel and Gaza, well, again, that just happened the other day. And you're in office now for 10 months. But literally during this press conference, or whatever you want to call it, Trump got as close as we can expect to admitting that the peace deal between Israel and Gaza is not sticking. Play that clip.
The Middle East. And now it's all, we have a little situation relatively with Hamas, and that will be taken care of very quickly if they don't straighten it out themselves, because they're in violation of their agreement.
Oh my God. Hard to imagine. Let me show you an article from the Associated Press explaining the situation here, just a little bit clearer than what you heard from the president. In it, it turns around and it says, Israel resumes ceasefire in Gaza and says aid deliveries will start Monday. It further goes on to say, Gaza's fragile ceasefire faced its first major test Sunday as Israeli forces launched a wave of deadly strikes, saying Hamas militants had killed 2 soldiers, and an Israeli security official said the transfer of aid into the territory was halted. It then goes on to say that the military later said it resumed enforcing the ceasefire, and the official confirmed that aid deliveries would resume Monday. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because he's not authorized to discuss the issue with the media. And finally, it says he told reporters aboard Air Force One on Sunday that Hamas has been quite rambunctious and they've been doing some shooting. He suggested that the violence might be the fault of rebels within the organization rather than its leadership. It's going to be handled toughly but properly, he said. Trump did not say whether he thought the Israeli strikes were justified, saying it's under review. Again, always pushing off to tomorrow in anticipation that there will be more chaos, more nonsense going on, more stupidity. Therefore, you're not going to be thinking about this. It's time to now pivot and think about something else. Meanwhile, during the White House meeting today, a reporter then goes on and asks Trump, why can't he enable Ukraine to just finish the war with Russia? Play the clip.
The First Lady has done such an amazing job on the Ukrainian children who were abducted by Russia. Would you support Senator Lindsey Graham's bill to declare Russia a terrorist state? And you have within your power, you're the most powerful man on earth. Why don't you just enable Ukraine to finish this war tomorrow?
Well, if you knew anything about what you were talking about, you'd be able. You do. I don't think you do. Really, I don't think you do because it's a little more complicated than that. But it sounds easy. We're in the process of trying to make a deal. If we make a deal, that's great. If we don't make a deal, it'll be a lot of people are going to be paying a big price.
President Trump, so a question to both of you, if you don't.
You see, she thought that she was going to flatter him. You're the most powerful man on earth. Congratulations to the First Lady, for her efforts in terms of the children that were stolen from Ukraine and are now residing in Russia. And then she goes on and she says the thing that everybody's saying, if you're so capable and you are so powerful and strong, why not just give Ukraine the Tomahawk missiles or other armaments in order to put an end to this war, if you do truly care that people are dying in droves? Meanwhile, the Financial Times reported the following with even more detail on last week's meeting between Trump and Zelenskyy, something everybody is still talking about. Hey, all of a sudden they have this great meeting. Nobody really knew specifically, but somehow or another, again, the Financial Times, well, they got the skinny. Let me show you what they say. In it, Donald Trump urged Volodymyr Zelenskyy to accept Putin's terms or be destroyed by Russia. U.S. President tossed aside maps of Ukraine front line in volatile White House meeting. Further, it goes on to say, Donald Trump urged Volodymyr Zelenskyy to accept Russia's terms for ending its war in a volatile White House meeting on Friday, warning that Vladimir Putin had said he would destroy Ukraine if it did not agree. The meeting between the United States and Ukrainian president descended many times into a shouting match, with Trump cursing all the time. People familiar with the matter said. Finally, they say they added that the United States president tossed aside maps of the front line in Ukraine, insisted Zelenskyy surrender the entire Donbas region to Putin, and repeatedly echoed talking points the Russian leader had made in their call the day earlier. Though Trump later endorsed the freeze of the current front lines, the acrimonious meeting appeared to reflect the U.S. president's shifting position on the war and his willingness to endorse Putin's maximalist demands. I mean, this is truly, truly nuts. First, he's all in on Putin. Then Putin did something that Trump didn't like. He's all in on Volodymyr Zelenskyy. And then all of a sudden, a phone call, one single 2-hour phone call. And all of a sudden, it's back to fuck Ukraine. Let's give Russia everything that they want. That's not diplomacy. It's not diplomacy. It's not something that Volodymyr Zelenskyy can do because he's not going to try to sell that to the Ukrainian people. Now, my friends, the last clip that I want to show you is Trump's comments on China from today. Play that clip.
Mr. President, your Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, in his Shangri-La speech in, I think it was May, warned about the potential likelihood or threat of President Xi ordering an invasion of Taiwan. 2027 is also the year that Fleet Base West is supposed to start rotating those US and UK submarines. Do you see AUKUS as a deterrent for China in the Indo-Pacific?
Yeah, I do. I think it is, but I don't think we're going to need it. I think we'll be just fine with China. China doesn't want to do that. First of all, the United States is the strongest military power in the world by far. It's not even close. Not even close. We have the best equipment. We have the best of everything, and nobody's going to mess with that. And I don't see that at all with President Xi. I think we're going to get along very well as it pertains to Taiwan and others. Now, that doesn't mean it's not the apple of his eye, because probably it is. But I don't see anything happening. We have a very good trade relationship. We're going to have a very good, I think, when we leave South Korea, it could be wrong, but I think we'll end up with a very strong trade deal. Both of us will be happy. No, I don't see that happening, no.
Mind you, I want you each to write this down. Nothing is going to change China's determination to take over Taiwan. And that the trade deal that exists right now with China, it is crumbling small businesses here in the United States to the tune of a minimum of 159% tariff on Chinese goods. By the way, let me say it as I say every single time. The most important thing we have to continue to do is to repeat those 3-word slogans again and again and again. Every time that they bring up these tariffs are taxes. And consumers pay tariffs. It is us who is now fronting for this ridiculous stupidity. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.